I'm doing a test now on YouTube Live to make sure that I'm heard. Checking the microphone, checking the mic system, checking the background noise because I am outdoors and I'll be doing more of these broadcasts from outside. So I'm trying different audio situations to see what's going to be the best one when there's a lot of background noise. There is a river, like literally a stone's throw from where I'm sitting. Of course, there are always going to be chickens in the background. Yeah, I'm in Indonesia, in Bali, at a guest house in Ubud, and I've been here for a while. And while I've been here, I've been chatting with a lot of friends around the world, like many of us are doing. And people are going through it. People are going through some serious changes right now as we move into this new way of being. And taking care of ourselves inside and out is so important. One of the things that will help us take care of ourselves is reestablishing boundaries. Because the boundaries that you have had in the past may have shifted, especially in these recent months. So, thinking about the different boundaries that we have and the different boundaries that we deal with when we're dealing with people or having our people dealing with us, it's important to take a look at them. We're going to look at a few of them right now. Like, first of all, there's physical. That's the most obvious, especially now with, people dealing with COVID and social distancing, uh, and people who are simply not. People who are consciously wearing masks, and people who choose simply not to. So, establishing our own boundaries physically, that's an actual, really physical, in your face boundary that you might want to, take a look at in terms of how you're presenting and how you're being presented to. All you can do is set your own personal boundary when it comes to that. The next one would be your mental boundary. Everybody has a thought on a subject, and your thoughts can be whatever your thoughts are. You can have your own opinion just as anyone else can. Um, and the right to have that thought is a very, very important thing to establish, accept, acknowledge, and clarify within ourselves. That how we think about things, that's how we think about things. When that gets encroached upon, it's always going to happen because everybody's different. Everybody has different thoughts. But establishing where your boundary is going to help. Another one is emotional. Emotional, now this can be tricky because emotional boundaries, especially when it comes to friends, family, relationships, spouses, children, this is a tough one sometimes. Physical boundaries. I'm sorry. Emotional boundaries. Where the heart is. The heart is a very sacred space. And establishing and acknowledging that sacred space, accepting that that is a sacred space within ourselves, makes it a little bit easier to respect that space as sacred in other people. So, boundaries of the heart. People are hurting right now. There are people who are definitely not hurting, but a lot of people are. So, the heart, sacred ground right there. Our stuff, material boundaries, our actual stuff. It would be great if we were all enlightened and didn't have any attachment to things, but we do. We have attachments to things, and quite often we end up lending things out that don't come back to us in a timely manner, or they come back to us in an altered condition. this can cause problems. So there are certain things that we need to reestablish, like, can you borrow my car? Should I lend my car? Who should I lend my car to? There can be very, very personal items that someone may want to borrow. Don't know. So anyway, we're going to talk about all of these in depth a little bit more, but personal boundaries, mental boundaries, emotional boundaries, material boundaries. There's also time boundaries. Your time is really, really important. Your actual time that you that we have, and quite often don't have. When it comes to boundaries, man, that can be a rough one. Time, because we want to be available. Well, maybe or not, but we want to be very, very clear on what we find our time to be worth. So we within ourselves can establish how much time we want to give or not give to a certain thing or a certain person or a certain situation, which leads to energetic boundaries, energy boundaries. Without getting all metaphysical hoo-ha about it, the physical, energetic, they go hand in hand. They all kind of go hand in hand. And energetic, the clearest way, one of the simplest ways to think about it is, energy going out, energy coming in. So, how much of your energy are you willing to give to a certain person, place, or thing? In terms of energy coming at you, how much are you willing to accept? These are important things to establish in our lives. So, a lot of it is based on how we were raised, where we were raised, what we gleaned from that, whether it's from family, friends, school, society in general. We've learned a lot of habits, and not all of them are good. Some of them are, and they can be enhanced, and then some of them are not, and those can be replaced. So, thanks for hanging out for a bit. We're going to be doing more of these. We're going to break down each one of these and then do some talks over the next few days about boundaries, because this has been coming up. People have been irritated, and sometimes they can't really figure out what has irritated them. And quite often, as it turns out, some boundary has been crossed, and it has not been clearly marked, I'll say. So, have an amazing everything, and we'll chat with you pretty soon.